Що стосується, наприклад, запрошення в НАТО, то тут складно сьогодні говорити з президентом Трампом, бо він ще не в Білому домі, у нього немає всіх цих юридичних прав. І я збираюсь, до речі, подзвонити найближчим часом президенту Байдену, якщо у нього буде така можливість поговорити зі мною і підняти саме питання щодо запрошення в НАТО, бо він зараз є діючим президентом Сполучених Штатів. І від його позиції багато чого залежить. І нема сенсу обговорювати з президентом Трампом те, що сьогодні ще поки він не в Білому домі, від нього не залежить.
This is my video update on this Monday afternoon, December the 9th, coming to you from Athens, Greece. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with Biden's victory lap. That's right. Biden, he issued a statement on Syria, and he took a victory lap. He claimed credit for the Assad regime change. Biden said during his speech yesterday that the United States will be providing support and money to Syria as they transition over from Assad to a free and independent Syria, ruled by Al-Qaeda, but free and independent Syria. Nonetheless, this is what Biden said. This is what he said. He took a victory lap, everybody. He took a victory lap, and he all but admitted that the U.S. was very much behind the regime change operation in Syria, and that's what this was. This was not a conflict. This was not a war. This was, without a doubt, a regime change operation. And within 24 hours, even less than 24 hours, Damascus fell, Syria collapsed, Assad left the country, Al-Qaeda took over, and the regime change was complete. This all took place within less than 24 hours, within maybe 10 to 12 hours. And the regime change was done, and Biden is claiming credit for it. Biden also, he's also going to give money, he gave $1 billion to Ukraine the other day. He is going to give $1 billion to Africa, to Angola, so that they can build a high-speed railway system or something like that. If you believe that the U.S. is going to build a railway system in Africa, in Angola, well then I got a railway system to sell you. But he promised $1 billion there, and he's going to give more money to Syria, to Al-Qaeda, to Al-Jolani, Al-Nusra, HTS, whatever you want to call them. In 1 week's time, Biden is pledging $2+ million to God knows where. God knows where. The washing machines are really spinning. They are spinning before Biden heads off to the sunset. The geopolitical 4D chess master known as Bidenopolis. And during his statement, he was bragging that he was the one, his 4D chess, geopolitical chess playing. It was the reason that Syria fell and Assad was removed under his watch. Biden said during his statement that it was his political mastery, geopolitical mastery, that weakened Iran via Israel. Iran and Hezbollah were weakened via Israel, and that was Biden's policy. So he did that. And Biden also said that Russia had been weakened via Ukraine, and Biden was responsible for that as well. So he weakened Iran and Hezbollah, he weakened Russia, and Biden said that because those two countries were weakened, they were unable to rescue Assad, and he was able to get the regime change. Bidenopolis, the evil genius. So that was Biden's statement. Believe it or not, that was pretty much what Biden said yesterday. And as he was speaking about Syria, the U.S. wasted no time in bombing Syria. 75 missile strikes, I believe, from U.S. fighter jets into Syria and Damascus. And Israel also decided yesterday to bomb Syria and Damascus. Israel also took a big chunk of Syria as well, as they are, according to Netanyahu, creating a buffer zone in Syria. But the military strikes from the U.S. and Israel, the reports are that these military strikes are targeting Syrian military infrastructure, military installations, air defense, airfields. They're basically destroying all of what remains, or what was, Syria's military facilities. Abandoned facilities, abandoned air defense, abandoned airfields, abandoned military factories, whatever. But the U.S. and Israel, they just decided to blow all this stuff up, which is interesting because you would think that if HTS was really this diversity-friendly, peaceful, reformed Al-Qaeda group, if they had changed their ways and they were the rebel good guys, why would the United States and Israel be concerned about the military infrastructure that was left over from Assad? You would think that they would want HTS, the rebel good guys, to have all of this military capability to protect the country, to safeguard the country, but to also protect the new free and liberated independent Syria from any outside military threats, like threats from Iran, for example, or from Hezbollah. You would think that the United States and Israel would want them to have all these weapons and all these military capabilities because they are the good guy rebels, right? So why did they feel it was necessary to blow up all of the military capabilities of Syria? Anyway, maybe HTS. Maybe they're not so friendly and so good. Maybe they're not the diversity-friendly rebel good guys that the media has been telling us they are over the past couple of weeks. So we do have an update on Assad. He is in Russia. He is in Moscow. The Kremlin issued a statement saying that Putin personally approved of Assad's request for asylum into Russia. So Assad and his family, they are safe in Russia. There were photos on the interwebs yesterday claiming to be the first photos of Assad and his family in Russia. But those photos are actually old photos from 2013. At the time of recording this video, we do not have recent photos or videos of Assad in Russia or in Moscow. But the news is confirmed that he was granted asylum to stay in Russia. As for the Russian bases, everyone's talking about what's going to happen with the Russian bases. For now, they're going to stay put. They are going to stay put. They are not in any danger. And there were even reports that the HTS jihadists, they signaled to Russia that they're not going to move on the bases. They're not going to do anything with the military bases. And so the Russian military presence for now in Syria is okay. It's safe. There were reports that the bases were going to be coming under attack or that Russia was quickly withdrawing. That's all fake news. Everything at the moment seems calm with regards to the Russian bases in Syria. I would guess that that Putin is going to be speaking with Erdogan and negotiating with Erdogan, the new Sultan of Syria. And they're going to be negotiating an orderly withdrawal of the Russian military assets in Syria. Maybe it'll take 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, I don't know. But the bases in Syria are not going to remain. That's for sure. So that's the update on the military bases. And we also have some more information as to what happened in Syria. This is coming from Iran. Why did the Syrian army not show up? I was going to say collapse, but it wasn't even a Syrian army collapse. They just didn't even show up to the fight. And why was Assad overthrown this time around? And this is coming from Iranian media. It's also coming from the Iranian foreign minister, who talked a bit about what happened with Assad and what happened with the Syrian military and the relationship between Iran and Syria, and how the relationship between the two countries started to collapse over the past couple of years. Was very much degraded because, well, let me tell you the three reasons. The one reason that there was such a collapse in the military in Syria is because Assad was drifting towards the Gulf states and moving away from Iran and the axis of resistance. And this is true. This is absolutely true. Assad was making an effort to integrate Syria into the Gulf states, into the Arab League, which is a good move, a smart move. But as he was doing this, as he was moving towards the Gulf states, and there was a rapprochement between Syria and the Gulf states, like Saudi Arabia, he was distancing himself from Iran. He wasn't able to keep both relationships moving forward. And so he was ignoring Iran. He was moving away from the axis of resistance, and he was very much focused on integrating Syria with the Gulf states. So that was a problem for the Syrian military, which was consulting with the Iranian military, and they were moving away from Iran, and this hurt the overall makeup of the Syrian military, as well as the motivation of the Syrian military. It got to the point where the Iranian foreign minister said in a statement that the Iranian presence in Iran, the military presence in Iran, at the moment of the HTS incursion was just on a consultancy basis. They just had some military advisors there and nothing more, and they weren't going to put troops into Syria. Their mandate was just to advise the Syrian military, and that was it. So that was an interesting statement. We also have some reports which claim that Assad, he removed many of his battle-hardened, old-school generals, the generals that served under his father, and the generals, the military commanders in Syria that won the war against ISIS and against the Obama U.S. Regime change operation. And those generals were removed by Assad because he wanted to put in place other commanders who he thought were more personally loyal to him. So he got rid of the generals who were serving under his father, who were very, very loyal to Syria, very battle-hardened, and he replaced them with new commanders who were closer to him personally. And another reason that things collapsed so quickly was because that Assad just refused to speak with Erdogan. So as he was moving closer to the Gulf states, as he was distancing Syria from Iran, he was also refusing to engage with Turkey and with Erdogan. And Erdogan wanted to meet with Assad, Erdogan wanted to discuss the issue of refugees and moving refugees, returning refugees from Turkey, Syrian refugees from Turkey, moving them into Syria, returning them to Syria. And Erdogan wanted to discuss this for a while now. For a couple of years, he's been wanting to sit down with Assad, and Assad did not want to speak with Erdogan. He kept on ignoring Erdogan. He kept on dodging any kind of meetings with Erdogan. It got so bad that even at the BRICS meeting in Kazan, where Assad was invited to attend, one would think that he would actually show up this meeting because everyone was there. All the big players, all the heavy hitters were in Kazan. China was there, India was there, of course, Russia, Putin, Iran was there, Erdogan was there. And the rumor is that Assad didn't show up to BRICS, much to the dismay of Russia and of China and other BRICS members. Assad did not show up. Saudi Arabia was there because he didn't want to run into Erdogan. He didn't want to sit down and meet with Erdogan. And that ended up hurting him in the end. So those are some reasons that we got yesterday, mostly from Iranian media and from the Iranian Foreign Ministry, explaining why the collapse happened the way it did and why it happened so quickly. We also got reports which claim that Iran actually notified Assad that HTS, with the help of Turkey, was planning an incursion, and Iran asked Turkey about this incursion. Turkey told Iran there's nothing to worry about, which was a deception, a lie. But Iran nevertheless told Assad that something is cooking up in Idlib towards Aleppo. They're planning something, and Assad was so distanced from Iran that he just ignored it. This is what some reports in Iran are saying. Actually, I even think the foreign ministry talked about this a bit. Yeah, they warned Assad, and he just ignored the warnings. And when HTS was advancing, here's another report. When HTS was advancing very quickly, Iran wanted to know if Assad was going to resist, if he was going to fight back. And the reports are that Assad didn't seem to have it in him to want to resist and to fight back. He didn't want to resist towards Homs or towards Damascus, which actually, if these reports are true, that Assad had kind of checked out, was just not motivated anymore. This kind of confirms what I was saying yesterday in my video update, that, at the end of the day, Assad is a person. Everyone involved in everything that's going on in geopolitics, at the end of the day, we are dealing with people. And contrary to what the collective West media always says about Assad, he's not this dictator strongman, at least not at the level of these sinister, manipulative players like Erdogan. I mean, Assad is not at that level of Erdogan. And after almost 2 decades of dealing with regime change from the collective West, as I said in my video update yesterday, maybe he just got tired, man. Maybe he just didn't have it in him to resist and to continue forward. He also had the family issues, the personal issues, health issues with his wife. Maybe Assad just said, I just don't have the strength in me anymore to deal with this. And so he stepped aside, stepped down, resigned, got asylum in Russia, and that was it. Transfer of power to Al-Qaeda, HTS, al-Nusra, the rebels, yeah. The media, the collectivist media, is already starting to talk about how maybe there's going to be a terrorist jihadist problem in Syria. For the past couple of weeks, they've been telling us rebel good guys, Al-Jolani, HTS, these are rebel good guys. These are the good guys. Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Chewbacca. Now they're running articles saying, yeah, maybe we're going to have a jihadist Al-Qaeda terrorist problem in Syria. They're already coming out with these articles. Not even 24 hours has passed since the regime change was completed. Anyway, that was what the various reports were saying about what happened in Syria. And sticking with Erdogan, talking about the leader of Turkey, the Sultan of Syria, Erdogan, he praised Putin. Yeah, he actually put out a statement and praised Putin. You see how Erdogan plays the game, man? He'll backstab you and deceive you on one end, and on the other side, he'll be praising you and complimenting you. This is the game that Erdogan has absolutely perfected. And he said that there are only two leaders in the world at this moment. Only two leaders. One is Putin, and the other is Erdogan himself. That is what he said. Let me read you his quote. Now, there are only two experienced leaders in the world. They are myself and Vladimir Putin. I'm not saying this because one of them is me, but I have been in office for 22 years, nearly as long as Mr. Putin. The rest are gone, and we want our dialogue to continue. It is important to continue politics. For instance, politics ended in Germany when Chancellor Angela Merkel resigned, he said. And he actually went on to praise one-time German Chancellor Schröder. He said Schröder was also at the level that myself and Putin are on, experienced world leaders. But yeah, he wants politics to continue. This is the game that Erdogan has mastered. He has mastered this game. He completely deceived and fooled Russia, Iran, Assad overthrown, Turkey allied with Israel, the United States, the collective West in this instance, in this operation. And as this has all been wrapped up, and he now has, for the moment, control of Syria, he comes out with a statement saying, I want to continue dialogue and politics with Putin because we're the only two experienced politicians left in the world. Erdogan, man. What to say? What can you say? So from Erdogan, let's talk about Elensky. Let's talk about Elensky. Very upset with Trump, the Green Goblin. Very, very upset because Trump has been embarrassing, humiliating Elensky, huh? At the Notre Dame reopening in Paris, Trump was towering over Elensky. Met with him for about 35 minutes, and what was the result? The vibe of the meeting? Trump saying that there's going to be a ceasefire. Like it or not, Elensky, we're going to wind down the conflict in Ukraine. There's going to be a ceasefire. Trump even said that Elensky wants a ceasefire. He even said Elensky wants a ceasefire as well, right? And so Elensky's been getting humiliated lately by Trump. And so what is Zelensky going to do? What does the clown puppet actor do in response to Trump's statements that there is going to be a ceasefire in Ukraine? What does the Green Goblin do? Well, Elensky, he came out with a statement and he said that he is going to run to Daddy Biden. Yeah, man. No joke. No freaking joke. Zelensky said that he is going to call up Biden and he is going to tell Biden, look, you still got about another month and some change as president. You're the only one that matters. Right now, Trump is still not president. You're what matters. You're the president. And I insist that as president of the United States, you invite us into NATO. This is not a joke. This is the plan that Elensky has. He wants Biden. He insists that Bidenopolis, the professor, invite Ukraine into NATO before Trump takes office. Who knows? Biden just might do it. He is causing chaos and fires everywhere. Even Syria, which is going to, I hope for the good and well-being of the Syrian people that everything is okay in Syria and they make it through this crisis. But, experience, history has shown us that this is going to be, or this could be very catastrophic, very chaotic. If you look at Afghanistan and Libya and Iraq, most likely things are going to get a lot worse in Syria. But Biden, he managed to collapse Syria right before Trump takes office. So another fire that Trump is going to have to deal with in the Middle East. But who knows? Biden may say, you know what? Why not? Why not? You're invited into NATO. Deal with it, Trump. Biden just may do it. It's very, very possible. I think it's not going to happen, but with Professor Biden, you never know. You never, ever know, do you? So Elensky was also upset with the Truth Social post that Trump put up the other day, where Trump threw out some figures for losses in the Ukraine conflict. The Truth Social post, where Trump once again says that he's going to end the conflict in Ukraine. He put up a post on Truth Social. Conflict in Ukraine is going to end, but he threw up some numbers. Actually, I think it was a post where we were talking about Syria as well, saying that the U.S. is not going to get involved in Syria either. Anyway, on Truth Social, Trump put up a post and he revealed some numbers. Probably not true. Casualty numbers of the conflict in Ukraine, definitely not true. But Zelensky didn't like those figures that Trump posted. He said that Ukraine had lost 400,000 soldiers and that Russia had lost 600,000 soldiers. Those were the numbers that Trump threw out there. Elensky didn't like those figures, and he responded. The Kremlin also responded to those figures. But Elensky, he put out a statement on social media saying that the losses from the Ukraine side, the actual KIAs, were at 43,000. That is what Elensky said, 43,000. And I believe he said 370,000 injured, of which he said 50% actually returned back to the front lines. And Zelensky also said in the statement that for every 5 to 6 Russian losses, there's 1 Ukraine loss. That is what Zelensky posted on social media. For every 5 to 6 Russian losses, 1 Ukraine loss, which means that attrition, this war of attrition, is very much in favor of Ukraine. And if you take that logic, 43,000 losses, it's not a small number, but it's much lower, much lower than what most thinking, rational people who have been following this conflict actually believe the real number of Ukrainian losses to be. But if you go by Zelensky's logic, 43,000 losses, 370,000 injured, of which 50% returned to the field, and 5 to 6 Russian losses to every 1 Ukraine loss. That means that give it some more time, just keep on fighting in this conflict. Give it another year or two and Russia will be depleted. Russia will have lost this war of attrition, which would lead you to believe that there's no reason to panic for Ukraine. I don't understand why Elensky would need the help from the United States. I don't understand why he needs more money and more weapons. I don't understand what all this talk about mobilization is about. What's all this talk about lowering the conscription age? What's all this talk about 100,000 European peacekeepers? If you go by Elensky's logic, all he needs is just another year or two, and he's got this thing wrapped up, if you go by his numbers, his math. By the way, Zelensky also said that after he's done talking to Biden, he may call up Macron and take up Macron's offer of troops in Odessa. I think Zelensky's panicking in a big, big way. After meeting with Trump, after that 35-minute meeting with Trump, I think Zelensky is really, really panicking now in a big, big way. I think it hit him. It hit him big time that Biden's gone and Blinken's gone, Sullivan's gone, and he's going to lose all of the support that he's had over the past 3 years. In a big, big way, he's going to lose the support and the money and the weapons, and he is really panicking now. Anyway, those were the numbers that he gave. So Peskov also weighed in, the Kremlin spokesman, and he wasn't so panicked. Peskov was not panicked at all. One would think that Russia and Peskov would be panicking if you go by Zelensky's numbers. But Peskov's statement was these numbers that Trump threw out there, this is just Ukraine propaganda. We're used to it. That's pretty much what Peskov said. These numbers, these figures, this is par for the course. This is what Ukraine has been doing since the beginning of the SMO, is putting out propaganda and inflated numbers. No, nothing new, no big deal, nothing new. We know what the numbers are. The Russian casualties are far lower. The Ukraine casualties are far higher, and we're just going to continue with our goals for the special military operation. That was pretty much Peskov's statement. And Peskov also talked about, this was interesting, he talked about negotiations with Trump and the ceasefire, because as Trump was talking about a ceasefire and saying that even Elensky wants a ceasefire, Trump is saying Elensky wants a ceasefire, right? And Elensky had to come out and say, I don't want a ceasefire. I'm not going to agree to a ceasefire. He actually had to go against what Trump said. He had to come out and say, no, what Trump was saying, I want a ceasefire, not true. I don't want a ceasefire. I'm not going to agree to a ceasefire, he said, unless I get security guarantees. That is what he said. Unless I am given security guarantees, I'm not going to agree to what Trump is saying, and I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to negotiate with Russia, and I'm not going to agree to a ceasefire. Which is interesting, because I thought that Ukraine had signed something like 36 security guarantees. Didn't Ukraine sign a bunch of security guarantees over the past year and a half? I did so many videos about all the security guarantees that Ukraine was signing with all of these countries in the collective West. Security guarantee with the United States, security guarantee with the UK, with the Netherlands, with Croatia, with Estonia, with Latvia, with Lithuania, with Germany, with France. He was signing up all these security guarantees. And at the time, I was saying on this channel, me and Alexander were saying in the Duran, that these security guarantees are nothing more than what? Than toilet paper, man. They're might as well just use it as toilet paper. They mean nothing, these security guarantees. And sure enough, Elensky saying this to Trump's comment about negotiations, stating that he is not going to negotiate unless he is given security guarantees, is an admission that all of the security guarantees that he was signing over the past year and a half are useless, meaningless junk, meaningless pieces of paper. When he means security guarantee, we understand what he means. When he says security guarantee, he's talking NATO. He is talking NATO. So Elensky said, no, I'm not going to negotiate. That was his response to Trump. To Trump's statement about negotiating, Elensky issued a statement very quickly and said, I'm not going to negotiate. Forget about it. Trump, forget about it. Hey, Trump, forget about it, man. Trump, Podolyak, tell this guy, Trump, I don't want to negotiate. I am not going to go negotiate. I want security guarantees. Peskov, on the other hand, Russia, They issued a statement and they said, yeah, we're ready to talk. We're always ready to talk. We're ready to negotiate. We're always ready to negotiate. Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, Peskov said, as a matter of fact, you even know what our terms are. You know what our negotiating position is because we've already stated it many times, but we go back to June at the Russian Foreign Ministry where Putin gave a speech and he laid out Russia's position when it comes to negotiations. Istanbul plus plus. Right? We've talked about this many, many times. The Istanbul Agreement with no. You start from no NATO for Ukraine. That's where you start off from. No chance of Ukraine ever entering NATO. Never going to happen. So you start from there. And then you go to the four new territories are recognized as Russian territory. Kherson, Zaporozhye, Donetsk, and Lugansk. All the territories, the entirety of the territory. And if there are Ukraine military in any of these regions, the Ukraine military has to pick up their stuff and run away and leave. And those areas are recognized as part of the Russian Federation. No military troops, no foreign military troops in Ukraine. And also discussing the overall security architecture in Europe and taking into account Russia's interests in Europe as a whole. Accepting the realities on the ground. That was what Putin, pretty much what Putin said were Russia's terms, Russia's position on negotiations back in June. And Peskov said, you know our terms. We're ready to talk. We're ready to negotiate. You know our terms. We've expressed our terms many, many times. I refer you to Putin's speech at the Russian Foreign Ministry in June. We're open to talk. So two very different positions, huh? Elensky's position and the Kremlin's position. One position is panicking, making demands and panicking and calling up Daddy Bidenopoulos. And the other position is, yeah, all cool. Let's talk. You know what we want. Let's discuss. We're looking forward to what Trump has to say. We're interested to hear what Trump has to say. So Merz, the BlackRock chancellor, soon to be chancellor of Germany, BlackRock Merz, he made a surprise visit to Kiev. He's in campaign mode, and Merz believes that if he goes and visits the Green Goblin, then that will increase his chances of becoming chancellor of Germany. So the CDU, via the German Foreign Ministry, I don't know, I guess they went through the German Foreign Ministry, I'm sure they did. They got the German Foreign Ministry to call up the Kremlin and ask the Kremlin if it's okay for BlackRock Merz to travel to Kiev, and the Kremlin said, okay, you can travel to Kiev. So he got on the train in Poland and he made his way to Kiev to meet with the Green Goblin and Tusk. Tusk and the Foreign Minister of Lithuania, they put out statements the other day, and they claim that if Assad can fall, then that absolutely means that Putin can fall. So what needs to be done is more weapons and more money to Ukraine. Right? This is the level of these leaders' logic. Annalena Baerbock math, right? If it's an if-then statement. If Assad can fall, if we can get regime change in Syria and Assad can fall, then if we continue to give money to Ukraine, then Putin falls. Right? Yeah, it's just, simple math. It's logic. It's logic, actually. It's just logic, man. It just makes sense. It makes absolute sense. Complete sense. If Assad can be regime changed, then Putin can be regime changed. So more money to Elensky. The funny thing is, when you hear these statements from Tusk and what's the dude's name in Lithuania, Landsbergis. When you hear statements from these guys, I mean, number one, you realize how intellectually challenged they are. And you start to wonder, how did these guys ever end up in the positions that they're in? Anyway, that's the first thing that comes to mind. But they don't realize that whatever your criticism is of Assad, or whatever your commentary is of Assad and what happened over the past couple of days, and Assad stepping down or getting regime changed, The fact is that Assad, the London-educated ophthalmologist who ended up being president of Syria, over the last, let's say, 15 years, Assad outlasted all of the big hitters of the collective West. The collective West dream team. He outlasted all of them, man. Every single one of them. He defeated all of these freaking, I was going to say a bad word. He defeated all of these freaking people, right? He saw off the king himself, Obama, right? Obama wanted Assad gone. Obama, see you later. He outlasted Clinton, the Clintons, Hillary Clinton. He outlasted Hillary Clinton. He outlasted Ketchup Kerry, John Kerry. He outlasted Angela Merkel. He outlasted Sarkozy and Hollande. Man, he outlasted all of these guys and gals. All of them. So I don't know. Their logic, Assad goes, then Putin can go, well, the fact is that Assad, over the last 15, 20 years, he outlasted some of the biggest names in collective West politics and leadership, names that are much bigger and much more important than Donald Tusk and the other dude in Lithuania, Landsbergis. I mean, Obama is, he's an A-list collective West leader. Landsbergis is like on the C team or the D team, Anyway, that's the statement now, the logic that's being employed by some EU leadership. They're very happy that Assad is gone, by the way. Very, very happy, the EU leaders. Schultz put out a statement and said he's happy. Macron said that he's happy that Assad is gone. Who else? Stammer's happy that Assad is gone. Kaja Kallas, the new foreign minister of the European Union, she's happy that Assad is gone. There were Syrians out in the streets in many capitals and cities across Europe celebrating. In Ireland, they were celebrating. In the Netherlands, in France, in Germany, they were out on the streets celebrating. Assad is gone. We are now independently ruled by Al-Qaeda. Yay. Al-Qaeda now rules over us. I don't know. I don't understand it. Find the logic in the celebrations that Al-Qaeda is now ruling over Syria. Or that the European Union is happy that Al-Qaeda now rules over Syria. If you're the European Union, if I was the EU, instead of putting out statements about how happy you are, I would start preparing for what could be. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but for what could be another refugee disaster. We'll see. We will see how all of this plays out. Anyway, let's do some Clown World, and we will wrap this video up. So when Elensky was meeting with Trump, he was dressed in his combat green attire and combat boots, smelly green sweatshirt. And Roger Stone didn't like this. Trump, a one-time Trump advisor, I guess you could say a Trump friend, Trump ally, Trump friend, someone who actually takes style very seriously, from what I understand. Roger Stone, he looks after the way he dresses, and it shows. He dresses very, very, very nice, Roger Stone. And he said it was an insult the way Elensky was dressed as he was meeting the soon-to-be president of the United States. Roger Stone said, and I quote, "He can't afford a suit. He wore a suit and tie to the World Economic Forum event, but can't wear one to address a joint session of Congress or to meet the president-elect of the United States," Stone told the New York Post, adding that Elensky's attire was disrespectful to the American people. Very true. Very, very true. Keep in mind, Roger Stone, Mr. Stone, keep in mind that Elensky actually went to church, to the Notre Dame, and attended a church service dressed like that. Not only insulting to Trump and the American people, but insulting to God, right? But yeah, Roger Stone is 100% spot on. Very insulting, very improper. But Elensky is very much deep in character. He's lost himself in this character. This is very true. He has absolutely lost himself in this green Castro, Guevara, I don't know, Saddam Hussein type of character that they've constructed for him, which is very much a character that they're now constructing for al-Jolani, right? They're basically taking the Elensky character and they're handing it over to the Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, HTS leader al-Jolani. So that was an interesting statement from Mr. Stone. And finally, we have a clown world from CNN. And it has to do with Christian Amanpour. Christian Amanpour, sophisticated journalist and international correspondent. Christian Amanpour. So she was interviewing the Iranian president. I forgot when this was, actually, but this is the photo, the meme that is on the interwebs, on social media. And Christian Amanpour was going to interview the Iranian president, but the Iranian president wanted Amanpour to wear a headscarf. And she refused. So the Iranian president did not give the interview, or would not come out for the interview. But Amanpour, she stayed true to her values, to CNN's values, to the collective West values. She stayed true to those values and insisted that she will not wear a headscarf. CNN will not bow down to Iran. CNN's values will not bow down to the Iranian president's demand. And they will not make Christian Amanpour wear a headscarf. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Values above everything else. Collective West values. Nothing is stronger than the collective West values. Not even the Iranian president is going to make us compromise on our values. Now, Al-Qaeda, al-Jolani, they can make CNN compromise on their values, because when it was time to interview al-Jolani, HTS al-Nusra al-Qaeda leader, CNN was more than happy to wear a headscarf. Propaganda. Propaganda. Collective West CNN propaganda. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop. Pick up some merch, like the bomber jacket I am wearing today. Link to the Duran shop is in the description box down below. Take care.